Saas-Almagell. Today is day 1, 2, 3, third day of our adventure. We started from Saas-Almagell and now we're going to the Almagellerhut, where I'm gonna spend the night because tomorrow we're gonna go and we're gonna do our Weissmies mission. Yesterday was great. Come on. Ugh. Oh, those are some crevasses. I did 1,300 meters in ascent and then 2,400 meters in descent, coming all the way back down into Saas-Grund, and the whole thing took me about, I would say, 10 hours. I slept like a log last night. So I was thinking of doing something a little bit different today. I realized that as the channel is gonna grow, some of you YouTube mountaineers might not be mountaineers and might just watch the films that I'm making because you're enjoying nature or the mountains. So I'm gonna go and ask a few people a few questions related to mountaineering and maybe give you a little bit more insight on why people climb mountains and what are the most enjoyable parts about mountaineering. What's your reason for climbing mountains?
Mine?
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful experience.
Yeah.
I love to accomplish things and goals that I set up for myself. It doesn't really matter if it takes place at a certain time. I just want to do them at some point in my life.
Yeah.
And the feeling afterwards is super rewarding. And you know, I think in order to live a full life, you always have to have things to look forward to.
Yeah.
And accomplish, and never look back. Always look forward.
What's your biggest achievement? Like, what's your biggest mountain that you ever climbed or something like that?
The biggest mountain I've climbed is Kilimanjaro, but that was not very high. I mean, not very hard. It was more like a hike like this. But the probably more extreme achievement was Cotopaxi in Ecuador.
Oh, amazing!
And I got really sick from the altitude.
What would you say is the thing that you're the most afraid of in the mountains? You know, like some people are afraid of crevasses or avalanches and stuff.
The objective risk, when you traverse a place and there is some ice, you don't know when.
Like seracs and stuff.
Like seracs, exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, rockfall also.
But this is a mountain guide.
Are you a mountain guide?
Yeah. So
amazing. And it makes sense because all of those things, the objective dangers, aren't in your control. So it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And what's your biggest achievement in mountaineering, would you say?
I did an expedition in India, and we make some first route on ridge and a rock climbing route with friends.
Yeah.
And I climbed also some good north face in the Alps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Eager.
Not Tiger, like Matterhorn and...
Guys, thank you so much. I'm not gonna hold you anymore.
Thank you.
So our way from the hut tomorrow is gonna go through this place that I can only think is pronounced Swiss Alps. Yeah, no. Let's try again. Swiss Alps. I'm gonna start referring to it as the pass, as we're like going to the pass, because I'm not gonna remember that. We're going to the pass tomorrow. There's meant to be a thunderstorm in the afternoon and then later on a little bit of rain, but it's already starting to look a little bit darker now. Definitely starting to roll in. Almagellerhut. Had some lunch, and now I'm gonna do the all-important mission of scoping out the route I'm gonna have to do tomorrow in the dark. It looks pretty straightforward. Tomorrow looks like it's gonna be a clear, sunny day, but the summit's gonna be about -5 degrees, so I'm gonna have to think long and hard about how I'm gonna film. I think I'm gonna have to change the cameras and keep the cameras like somewhere in my jacket or my backpack, which is the last thing that you want to think about when you're probably already struggling to get up the mountain in the first place. I can see tomorrow's mission from here. Let me show you. I'm gonna have to go behind that mud bank and follow along the ridge all the way up to the summit, which I think is just behind that snow cap over there. Pretty straightforward. I might bite my tongue like every single time, but that doesn't look too bad. And that's it for today. I'll catch you tomorrow in the dark. So at the hut from 5 or 6 p.m. it started to rain really heavy, which meant that 500 meters higher it snowed. So we went up on about 4 to 5 centimeters of snow, really powdery snow, which didn't make it super easy crossing some boulders, but otherwise conditions are perfect. It's gonna be such a good sunrise. I'm also not alone. Met a German friend. Hey Danny.
Hi. This is a perfect mountain guide.
Maybe in the works one day.
Book him.
So why do you climb mountains?
So actually I climb mountains because I can get away from my everyday life, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's a special mood. Each tour decides from the other one, you know. And I think it's the perfect kind of sports.
Do you have anything about mountaineering that scares you?
Yes, if you have a glacier and you
Yeah.
have fresh snow.
Yeah. So the
That's what I
crevasses.
don't like. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And even more if you are on ski.
Yeah.
Because I think then it's even more difficult to see it or to decide if there is a crevasse.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
No, I don't have the word again.
We did so much from the pass. I think we are almost on the height of this one.
You know what I reckon? Straight up.
You can also see some.
Yeah, footprints. I don't want to follow that because that's a little bit too close to the edge.
Yeah.
Oh, Danny climbing.
Yeah, but that's
Finally. There's quite a bit of ice here on the rock as well.
Yeah.
What a view. Try to stick your boot into something that it doesn't move from. Nice one, mate. Interesting technique.
Please don't talk about my technique. Probably the worst in the Alps.
It's not. It's like, it reminds me of Viv, my fiance.
Of who?
Viv, my fiance, my girlfriend.
Ah, okay.
She uses her body in interesting ways as well. We're getting to the summit now. I think it's only fair to say what my reason for climbing mountains is. It keeps me present and it helps me to be mindful. When I was in my early 20s, everything seemed very difficult and I struggled quite a bit. So I ended up looking back at my teenage years, thinking constantly about the past. And now, just because I have more ambitions and there's a lot more work that's happening, my mind's always on the future and what's happening next week, next month, next year. But that's never the case in the mountains. I never struggle to be mindful here. Also, I would say the other reason is that the views are pretty cool. Well, that was f***ing difficult. Well done, come here. Nice one. Coming. Oh. Ah, screw this. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Woo!
Actually, it's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.